In this episode of the PH Breakdown, I am going to break down a textbook Blesbok hunt in the Karoo region of the Eastern Cape. Now, this episode was sent to me by a listener of the podcast. So thank you, Mark. I really appreciate you sending it through to me. I don't think Mark is part of the hunt. I guess he just came across the video and asked me to break it down. There's a couple of cool hunts on this particular video, so I would suggest you guys click on the link below and watch the full video. It's a really good video. Talking about the person that made the video, I think you did a really good job. You got little shots on. Your use of music was fantastic. Good shots, good placement, good editing, everything. As somebody that likes to watch a lot of hunting videos on YouTube from all over the world, Africa, Europe, Americas, New Zealand, Australia, it doesn't matter where it is. I just have got one suggestion for those guys that make hunting videos. I know music is important, and a lot of times it adds to the scene, maybe it builds a bit of tension. But guys, you don't have to play music through the entire video. As somebody that enjoys hunting and being outdoors, I like to hear the sound of the birds. I like to hear them being able to load the rifle. I like to hear the hunters talking with the guides. You know, the sound of their boots crunching on the stones as they're walking over, that type of stuff. So this is one of the reasons why I also like this video, is because when you get close to the hunting, the music stops and it kind of really draws you into it. So yeah, again, the guy that made this, very, very well done. All right, let's jump into this Blesbok hunt. Okay. I'm going to guess, I don't know where they're hunting. I'm going to guess it's kind of maybe the Graaff-Reinet area, the Eastern Cape. A lot of those hills and terrain looks very similar to what I used to hunt into. But the reason why I stopped it here is I just want to show you guys those hills and those mountains in the background. Now, in South Africa, we don't have excessively massive mountain ranges that you would in Europe or Americas or anything like that. So what we refer to as mountains, a lot of you guys that coming over to South Africa might kind of shrug it off and say that it's not a mountain. We call it mountains. You might call it a large hill. Either way, those hillsides get steep and they get high real quick. And you'll be very surprised at just how quickly you get out of breath, and how fast you end up gasping for air, especially if you are up in the Karoo or maybe even the central parts of South Africa where you're up at altitude. You will start sucking oxygen pretty quickly. So, anybody that's going there, make sure you got a very good pair of boots. Make sure you are of good fitness levels. And by all means, do not underestimate any of the hills, koppies, mountains, whatever we refer to in South Africa. Yeah, this is classic Blesbok terrain. They absolutely love these sort of flat, open grassland areas of the Karoo. What they'll tend to do is they'll graze on the bottom flats, and then if spooked, they'll either go up the side of the hills or they'll get down into the riverbeds, those dry riverbeds where it's a bit thicker, and they'll kind of hide up in there. But for the most part, when you're glassing for Blesbok, 99% of the times you'll find them out in the open flats. And this is a great shot because this is just prime Blesbok territory for them. There's a nice group of white Blesbok and commons, all in the mix. Now, I'm sure as many of you guys know, both male and female Blesbok have both got horns, and they're not overly different in terms of length. So a male Blesbok horns may only be 2, 3, 4, 5 inches longer than a female's. You can tell the difference between them by usually the thickness of them, a lot of the other characteristics on the males. But for the most part, when you've got a big herd like this that we've just seen and they're all running through, it's difficult to differentiate between male, female, young, old, trophy, non-trophy, all those types of things. What I always like to try and do is get into or get on top of the Blesbok without them seeing you. That gives you a real good opportunity to just look them over, decide on the one you want, and kind of put on a game plan there. Once you spook Blesbok, they are very flighty animals. They will run great distances. They've got fantastic stamina, and they're kind of, how do I say this? They're almost sheepish. If one goes, they all go. And that's just how they are. Once you get Blesbok running, it can be for a very, very long day. Which I think they've done here. They've obviously probably bumped these Blesbok and now they're going after them. So again, another just a great shot. It might look a lot flatter than it actually is out there where they're walking, but a lot of the times you get these kind of little undulating hills, these little dips. And the Blesbok will like to try and stay in the open as much as they can. As I said earlier, a lot of the times they're spooked, they'll run up the side of these hills. But you've always got to keep your guard up, your attention up when going after these Blesbok, because if they are so flighty and you are in places like the Karoo, a lot of the times you could bump a duiker, springbuck, you could bump something else that could go running into them. So whenever you're out here, always keep glassing around. Make sure you keep an eye on them, but also just keep looking all around you. Make sure you're not bumping into anything else that might spook them and ruin the hunt. So there, you can see there's springbuck in the mix. There's Blesbok walking each way. They're going behind the bushes, in front of the bushes. This is the reason why I chose specifically this video, because I've mentioned in previous podcasts, I've mentioned in the book that I wrote, that when you are going after animals where both male and female have got horns and there isn't much differentiation in terms of characteristics, it's very, very important that you find out how many animals are in that herd. Are there any distinguishing features of the animal that you're targeting or you end up shooting? Because once that shot goes off, it's all hell breaks loose. You're going to have animals running left, right, center. You're going to have different species getting in the mix, and you can very easily confuse another animal with the one you thought you shot. And next thing, you've got two wounded animals or two downed animals. So this next segment of the video, I'm going to kind of let it play through, and you can just see how easy it is for that confusion to happen. So great work by the PH there, getting those quad sticks set up, moving in behind the shoulder. Now, I've watched this video quite a few times, and I still can't quite figure out the position of this Blesbok. So you guys feel more than welcome to hit the link below, and it'll take you to this video, and you can watch it yourself. But I'm guessing this Blesbok has got its head down, and it's kind of quartered in towards them, but it's feeding at the same time. I know maybe with this distant, with the camera, you can't quite see it. It's a little bit fuzzy and blurry. And at the sound of the shot, the camera kind of jumps, so it makes it difficult to see how that Blesbok's standing. Ordinarily, you may not want your hunter to take a frontal shot on a Blesbok like this, quite a small, sort of tight target. Looks like they're going to be kind of shooting maybe through the long grass there. I'm just going by the perspective of the camera that I see. But I have watched this video through. This particular woman, the hunter, you can see she's a very good shot. In the video, she shoots zebra, impala, a couple of other Blesbok, things like that. So I don't know what's been said. Maybe it was said off camera, but you can definitely see that the PH has got confidence in her to take these types of shots. He's clearly set the sticks up. Yes, this Blesbok is not perfectly broadside, but as I mentioned, they've got a bit of a history. They've built that relationship, and the PH feels confident that she could take the shot, which they do now. But what I want you guys to take notice of is after the shot, look how many Blesbok come running out of that bush on the right-hand side, and just you try and differentiate if the Blesbok they shot is in the mix or not. It can be quite confusing.
Was hit.
Here we go. Look at how many animals start to come running out.
Calm down. Let's go chicken.
See, very, very interesting. Also, I don't know if you heard with that, but after the shot, the PH said, calm down. I think that's a very, very good move by the PH. Throughout this video, I watched him. He's a good, solid PH. I don't know who this guy is, but a lot of the times you could tell that he just wanted to calm the clients down. He was always had his binoculars fixed on the animals. And in this particular moment, I think with that shot being angled in kind of through that long grass, it kind of sounded like the hunter quickly reloaded in anticipation for another one. In those moments where you got those chaotic animals running all over the place, I think it was a great call by the PH to say, calm down, let's wait and see what happened.
Did I hit him?
Again, another interesting one. She asked, did I hit him? So she's looking at the cameraman. Obviously, he was filming it, wanting to know, did I hit him? This happens a lot, specifically when you've got people that don't necessarily hunt a lot. They'll tend to take the shot and either quickly try and reload or don't necessarily pay attention through the scope as they're shooting to know if they've hit the animal or not. Again, this is such an important reason as to why the PH has to have his binoculars fixed on that animal. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's the PH's call as to whether you hit it or not and how well you hit it or not. Equally important is that the hunter wait for the PH's instruction to shoot. By the PH giving the instruction to shoot, yes, go ahead, you can take it, wait for it to turn, all those types of things. That PH is ensuring or effectively telling you that I have now got eyes on it and you can take that shot. I've been in situations where I've had someone shoot too early. I've had someone that shot when they weren't supposed to, and it's caught me off guard. And they've turned around and said, did I shoot it? And you think, I don't know. I wasn't ready. It was a 250, 300-yard shot. Yes, it might have sounded like you hit it, but I don't know where you hit it specifically. Also, in situations like that, where it's a tight space, you can see that there was brush either side, a lot of animals. That PH needs to follow that animal after the shot. He needs to see which direction it ran into. Maybe he's counted up the animals. Maybe he's really following on that herd to see if the animal you shot is with them or not. So a lot of factors go into it. But I think this hunter did a great job. She shot, reloaded. PH said, just calm down, hold for a bit, which she did. And he was clearly well onto that Blesbok and relayed to her later on that it was a good shot.
There it is.
What?
Here we go. So a bit of success. Good job by the hunter. Good job by the PH all around. And good job by the cameraman for spotting the Blesbok.
Nice thick bases, a lot of ribs, ivory.
Yeah, nice round.
Knocked him what I thought he
Very nice round.
like went in.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Very nice. So there you go. Well done to the hunter. Well done to the PH. Good filming by the cameraman and a really, really nice Blesbok there. As I said, just a good textbook Blesbok hunt. You're out on the flats in the Karoo. A lot of the times, big herds of Blesbok. They get mixed in with other animals such as springbuck. You tend to find Blesbok on a lot of packages. They're abundant. They're priced fairly on the lower side of a price list. And what happens is people tend to underestimate them, that because there's so many of them, because they're slightly cheaper, that somehow it's an easier hunt. That is not the case when it comes to Blesbok. Things can go sideways very, very quickly. And that's why I highlighted this video to just say that even though it is a textbook Blesbok hunt, there were still little moments that could have made it difficult. But I think between the hunter and the PH, they did a fantastic job. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Cheers.